Hello again and welcome back to another YouTube video on American Flyer trains. As always, I thank you for taking a few moments out of your busy lives to stop by today. We are going to take a second look at a 720A switch repair. This is the third video in a series, and the first two had dealt with just one switch. Well, after the easy one, I moved to the next harder one. And as any of you are familiar with, when you get into flyer repair projects, there's usually some, well, we'll call them surprises. And this was no exception. I was surprised on many occasions. And since in this case, these were surprises I'd never encountered before, it took a little bit of head scratching and came up with some solutions that I want to share with you today in the hopes that should you endeavor to repair some switches, that if you run into some of this, at least you'll have some ideas of the way one guy dealt with them. So I invite you to join me for our next few minutes as we take a look at a 720 switch repair today on Austin's American Flyer YouTube page. So here we have the 720A after the rails, or what's left of the rails, have been removed. And you can see that this tab is rusted partially off, but underneath it's completely gone. So that's going to have to be replaced. And this one is suspect. I don't know if I'll be able to salvage that one or not. The ones on the straight section of rail are okay. But, well, this one down here is not. Okay, just a word of caution. I'm going to be using a cutting wheel. These are ceramic disc, and they, if you're not familiar with cutting wheels on high-speed tools, they are amazing. They do all kinds of work, but they also can randomly, spontaneously fly apart. And so one thing you always want to do is to have eye protection, and then the second thing you want to do is not have your face anywhere, directly above or in line with the bits and pieces that are probably going to be flying off. So the other thing I do is I go very gently with this tool in an effort to make the cutting wheel last as long as possible. Obviously, I'm going to use some JB weld to reattach the corner of the switch here, switch base. It's actually broken three places. The rusted steel, or rusted steel metal that was formerly the tab, just would not come out of there, and sure hate to have broken that, but there was no other way to get it out. So that's what I'm going to do, and after I get everything nice and clean, then I'm going to apply epoxy, JB weld, go ahead and get these parts fastened back on, and then it will sit for another day while that cures. And then after that, it'll be time to start with the reconstruction. Alright, I'm making some progress on the switch, and also running into some new surprises. I've got the brass replacement tabs made and installed. Was really surprisingly simple. I was worried about measurements, and while I did certainly need to make it the right width, I found out that this little pliers is just the right width that I could pinch down, center my part on here, and then just bend each side up, and it was a perfect fit. So that took care of that dilemma. I've got these plates, at least the initial debris cleaned off of them. I want to burnish them yet, and then those will go
back on here, and making some good progress. You can see the JB Weld is set now, and I mean, you can see there's a crack there, but really looks pretty good. The next dilemma I ran into was getting this stud off. All of these were on, and you can see, well, maybe you can see there was some corrosion. Again, I'm going to clean all this off, but I cannot get this one loose. And if you're keeping track, this is now day 4 since this project started. So it's surprising what time it takes, and but yet, as I stated before, this thing is going to be awesome when I'm done. So I took the knurled stud, or sorry, I took the stud out and replaced it with this bolt and nut, and the yellow ring was completely disintegrated, and I had a little bit of yellow electrical tape, so it doesn't look the best, but at least you can tell what color wire to put on there. All right, I think by all accounts it is able to be negotiated successfully through the curved section. Now we're going to go ahead and try out the straight section and see. I think maybe I'll go ahead and remove those cars at the moment, and we'll check this out and check the performance through the straight part of the switch. By every indication, I would call this a successful switch repair. It throws with power applied, the bulb works, and cars are able to go through the switch both directions without derailing. So I would call this a success. I hope you enjoyed this today, and until next time, we'll see you. God bless you. Take care.